to County Report this week. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for joining us. We start this week with the official unveiling of the County Executive's proposed FY14 Operational Budget. The $4.8 billion budget restores some programs and services cut back in the past and funds schools at the maintenance of effort level. After closing more than $2.7 billion in budget shortfalls in the last 6 years, Executive Leggett says the FY14 operational budget restores and plans for the future.
We've worked aggressively to provide additional resources. That is, to provide higher resources as it relates to reserves. It means that we have a targeted amount of 8%, $354 million in reserves that we've provided. We've set aside tens of millions of dollars to meet anticipated health call obligations for retired employees. And we've advanced and provided more monies available to meet weather-related emergencies for the future.
The budget holds the line on property taxes at the county chartered level below the rate of inflation, while adding 40 more public safety personnel, providing a 10% increase for the public libraries, a 4.2% increase for Montgomery College, and an additional $55.8 million for MCPS.
Provided funds at all levels for public education, increased staffing and funding for our public safety sector, expanded library services, increased our investment in English language programs for adults, included funding for our most vulnerable citizens in Montgomery County, and provide additional help and support for many basic social services programs.
For the next fiscal year that starts on July 1st, Leggett proposes funding county employee compensation based on the collective bargaining agreements negotiated with each of the county's bargaining units.
This is a better budget, a better position for our county. And because we've made those sacrifices, because we've done many of those things, we're in a better position. This workforce is smaller. I want you to look again at the employee cost savings, the $469 million on this side, the county government spending. And you see that this year we're almost half of what we spent last year, so we're going back down. And the increase that you see from last year comes as a result of almost 5 years of zero-based budget in the county as well.
To view the entire budget, visit montgomerycountymd.gov. Council President Nancy Navarro tells us the county executive's $4.8 billion budget provides a good starting point for the council's decision-making process.
I think it's a good budget, but obviously, we'll always have puts and takes, and there will always be some people that feel that we should do more. But I think it's inching up in the sense that it is true to the priorities, I think, of the council, of the executive, and of the residents.
The Silver Spring Transit Center has been the subject of a year-long study that examined construction flaws in the building, and as Susan Kennedy tells us, that report found there are still serious problems with the design and construction of the project. Susan?
Lorna, county officials have been waiting with bated breath for a report that will tell them exactly what is wrong with the Silver Spring Transit Center. And this week, that day finally arrived. It's more than 2 years behind and way over budget. The Silver Spring Transit Center has been on hold for more than a year after it was discovered concrete was poured incorrectly in certain areas of the project, raising questions of safety. And residents have had enough.
Because these delays actually, they hurt business, they hurt mass transit, the community, and local development. The massive detours around the construction site make it less safe for pedestrians and lead people to drive instead of taking the bus and metro. And almost equally importantly, and it erodes people's confidence in government and the ability of public officials to build or oversee an important project like this.
The county hired an engineering firm to study and report on the progress of the facility, and after months of waiting, the report has been released.
Presumably what we do is we fix this structure, we pay for it to be fixed, and we get it open as soon as possible. Now, previously been told that even with the fixes that had been contemplated before, that we thought we could get this facility open by late fall. It's certainly my hope that that continues to stay on track, notwithstanding that there may be a few more things that we need to attend to.
There has been plenty of finger-pointing associated with the project. The developer, Folger Pratt, says the county has needlessly delayed completion of the center, while county officials say they just want to be sure things are done correctly.
We have to see the engineering report to really figure out, well, where does the responsibility lie? You know, it could be that the county fulfilled its appropriate oversight role and the contractor made a mistake that no oversight could have prevented, or it could be that the county did not fulfill its proper oversight role and should have prevented that mistake from happening in the first place. We don't really know that answer yet. And I personally, I think the rest of us are trying to avoid jumping to conclusions, and we're trying to, you know, not push parties into that protracted legal battle.
In the meantime, County Executive Ike Leggett has requested an additional $7.5 million for the project to cover costs to prevent any further delays. It's hoped the transit center will be open by September of this year. In Rockville, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
You can read the report at montgomerycountymd.gov/DGS and follow the link on the homepage. Also this week, the introduction of a bill that addresses the Working Families Income Supplement. During the recession, the county reduced funding to less than 100% of the Maryland credit. Under this new proposal, that credit would be restored to 100% by 2015.
It's time to restore that and establish again that this is our county policy going forward. We're going to keep at 100% match level, which is about $500-something for a typical recipient. And we want them to be able to count on that going forward. Whenever they qualify, they'll be able to count on it being there.
And this week we had Maryland Attorney General Douglas Gansler as our guest in the county's Spanish language radio show. He discussed the state's new educational campaign to combat human trafficking. The Attorney General co-chairs the state's human trafficking task force that is set up to identify victims and traffickers while training law enforcement officers.
The most common cases of human trafficking in Maryland are with Asian women and Latino women who are brought over to this country and now owe the people who brought them, and then get trapped for months and years in basically what amounts to slavery here in Maryland. And we need to be able to expose it. And they're very careful about how to do it. They'll do it out of residential homes or hotels and motels, and often over the internet. We catch a lot, but a lot gets undetected.
The state is asking the public to report anonymous tips of suspected human trafficking to the national hotline at 1-888-373-7888. When we come back, we'll tell you about a new pedestrian safety initiative that involves MCPS students.
Montgomery County residents with computers, smartphones, and other electronic devices now have convenient access to a growing variety of information. Visit montgomerycountymd.gov/open to discover how Montgomery County government is more transparent, accessible, and efficient than ever. Access Montgomery links digital services related to accountability, accessibility, and transparency, including MC311 and County Stat performance tracking. You can link to internal audits, spending disclosures, contracts, open solicitations, budgets, and free Wi-Fi locations in the county. Data Montgomery offers such information as access to employee salaries, food safety inspections, cable complaints, and residential and commercial building permits. Engage Montgomery is the new social media platform that encourages public participation on key issues and offers a place where people can share ideas on ways to improve the community. Mobile Montgomery details the county's mobile sites like MC311 and transportation storm operations, library book mine, crime reports, and Ride On Real Time. The new open government efforts are expected to move Montgomery County towards even greater service improvements and efficiencies. We hope you'll take a look and let us know what you think by calling 240-777-6507 or emailing public information at montgomerycountymd.gov.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. Every year, the City of Rockville celebrates the Rockville Business Appreciation Week to say thank you to companies who do business in the city. Our Rockville 11's Bridget Boyer recaps the week in this short segment.
As another successful Rockville Business Appreciation Week wraps up, we wanted to take this opportunity to interview Ready Executive Director Lori Boyer to get her thoughts on the week.
Business Appreciation Week 2013 has been fantastic, actually. We had over 50 businesses that signed up this year. We've had great teams of ambassadors who have been out all around the city talking to companies, and we've just seen a variety of businesses from retail and restaurant to high tech, and to, everything in between. So it's really been a great week.
The week is a chance to say thank you, but it's also an opportunity to gather information about the city's local businesses.
Well, it's really a great opportunity for us to get out there and maybe meet with some folks that we hadn't met before or hadn't heard of. And, we do our best to try to throw our net very wide to get as many companies as we can involved, because it's really a great opportunity to work on some of our business retention efforts, is making sure that the companies who are already here stay here and grow here. And that's really the easiest way to grow your employment base, is to keep the companies you already have. We really have some great companies here in Rockville who are doing some life-changing and life-saving things, and I think it's fantastic.
And now we get a police update from Officer Rebecca Innocenti about thefts from vehicles that have been occurring in the areas of Germantown and Damascus. Officer?
Thank you, Lorna. Since mid-December, the Germantown and Damascus areas of the county have experienced daytime theft from vehicles. These thefts are all similar in that they're occurring in public places like a recreational center, a community park, and the suspects are gaining an entry into the vehicles by smashing windows. They're removing purses that are in plain sight. The suspects then are removing these credit cards and cash and checks that are in these purses, and they're cashing these checks at local banks and using these credit cards to purchase merchandise. So again, we're reminding residents that if you leave your vehicle, take your valuables with you or put those valuables in the trunk. Don't leave purses and other valuables in plain sight. Also, keep a record of all your credit cards, your check numbers, so that in the case they do become stolen, you can contact those financial institutions and cancel those accounts.
Thank you, Officer Innocenti, for the update. Now here's Tom Polk from the county's Department of Transportation with an update on a recent presentation held for MCPS students about pedestrian safety. Tom?
Hi, I'm Tom Pogue, Community Relations Manager for the Department of Transportation. Here's an update from Montgomery County. MCDOT's Safe Routes to School Coordinator recently gave a pedestrian safety presentation to 120 middle school student leaders from 22 county schools. The coordinator created an It's Academic style game to both entertain and educate the students. Questions on pedestrian safety statistics and safe walking tips included: if a pedestrian is hit by a car traveling 40 miles per hour, what is the chance they will survive? The team with the most points received wearable blinking lights as a prize. As hoped, the game was engaging, with the students enthusiastically talking amongst themselves about the answers. Another training activity underway is Train the Trainer sessions, where high school students learn how to teach elementary kids to walk safely. These programs are especially important due to the recent return to daylight savings time. Now, more students are walking in darkness during the early morning hours, so stay alert. For more information, visit our website at montgomerycountymd.gov/walk. We're working to keep you moving safely.
When we come back, Montgomery College just wrapped the women's basketball season, and it is one to celebrate about. And a member of the county's Board of Education gets recognized by council. We'll tell you who, and we'll be right back.
To get information or report an emergency in Montgomery County,
do you know the right numbers to call?
Montgomery County 311.
I need a new recycling bin.
Call 311 for county information and services.
Montgomery County Police.
My car was broken into last night.
Call 301-279-8000 for crime-related non-emergencies.
Montgomery County 911.
I just saw a car crash.
That's an emergency.
Help us get help to you.
Call 911.
Only for a real emergency.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
Woohoo!
We're in! For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. Community stakeholders recently met to draft a revision of MCPS's strategic plan that focuses on teaching and learning for the next decade. Here is a story from MCPS.
And you can certainly discuss ideas.
MCPS parents, teachers, and community members gathered at a special meeting to share their thoughts on the future of the school system. MCPS is in the process of revising its strategic plan, Our Call to Action, Pursuit of Excellence, so that it reflects the knowledge and skills that students will need to be successful in the 21st century. MCPS is working closely with the community to do this important work. The strategic plan has guided the district in its efforts to improve teaching and learning for all students for over a decade.
We've learned that by engaging our families and community, that is what will help us get to breakthrough improvement. And so that's why I'm excited about having so much interest in this process.
I think it's important to investigate something deeply, not lightly. We also want to check and assess students. It doesn't have to be a written test. It could be observations.
During the meeting, attendees worked in small groups to discuss their ideas on 3 key areas: academics, creative problem solving, and social and emotional competencies. The feedback that was provided at this meeting will guide the community-wide network team that is currently working on a draft revision of the plan.
People feel like they can come out and share their ideas, and sometimes when you're looking to solve a problem or looking for new ideas, you got to look everywhere, leave no stone unturned.
I feel like this meeting was very helpful. I feel like the room was very diverse. The questions that were asked, the responses generated a lot of thought, and a lot of careful planning will go into the strategic planning, I hope.
Judy Daca is currently serving her 2nd term on the Montgomery County Board of Education, and this week the council recognized her for receiving the 2013 Minority Recognition Leadership Award.
We're very proud of how well our students have done, that we're the first in graduation in the country, and that we have more AP students than other places, and that our African American and Latino students are scoring 3 and above. But we know that we have other students that would really want to pull up to that level, and we're working on it every day.
Montgomery County College women's basketball team just finished their season, and it will go down as one of the best in school history. Here's MCTV's Michael Brown with a report.
After 2 of their leading scorers went down, no one expected the MC women's basketball team to do anything in the postseason. They had just 7 healthy players and no margin for error. But what people didn't understand is that the Raptors are the little team that could. A team on a mission, and they used their guts and determination to prove the skeptics wrong. First, they stormed to the Region 20 title with 2 blowout wins. Next up, the district championship game against Middle Georgia, where double-doubles from Jocelyn Martin and Capria Redparth and 15 points from Jamila Thalley led the Raptors to a 72-36 win.
We've gone through a lot, injuries, a lot of adversity, and we made it through, and I'm really proud of you ladies. That's the way to play.
That sent the Raptors to the national championships in Minnesota as the number 5 seed. But right before the opener, more adversity, as stars Jamila Thalley and Capria Redparth came down with a nasty virus. But they overcame that and upset number 4 seed Anoka Ramsey 84-77. Jocelyn Martin led the way with 31 points. Freshman Angelica Ciccone added 15 and Redparth 13.
Coach G told me to keep my head and told me that nobody can stop me if I play my game.
Next up, the number 1 team in the nation, Rock Valley. A slow start put the Raptors in a hole, but in the second half they cut the 20-point deficit to just 6 behind the valiant play of Valley and Saccone. But ultimately foul trouble doomed them and they lost 72-60.
Yeah, we're disappointed. You know, this isn't what we expected, but you can't hang your head. They played. If they had laid down and just let this team just roll all over us and beat us by 30 or 40 points, then I can see feeling real bad about it. But they stood up.
Their last game would decide whether they finished 3rd or 5th in the nation. Overcoming illness, injury, and the short bench, the Raptors dug out of another first-half hole to take the lead with under 10 minutes to play. But that was as close as they could come as fatigue from playing 3 games in 3 days finally took its toll. While understandably disappointed, there's no reason for this inspirational team to hang its head. They will go down as one of the best basketball teams in MC sports history. 24-8 record, Region 20 and district champs, and number 5 in the nation. From Montgomery College for County Report this week, I'm Michael Brown.
Good news about the county's public library system. They have been named to the list of top 100 libraries to follow on Twitter. Along with other notable libraries and library systems in the United States and abroad, ranking 48th place on the list that is topped by the Library of Congress and the New York Public Library. The ranking is based on active libraries that provide great content on Twitter and on how quick they respond to people's comments and questions. Now you know, follow the Montgomery County Public Libraries on Twitter. When we come back, Earth Day is almost here and we need you as a volunteer. And we'll take you to the H2O Summit. That's right, a gathering about stormwater management.
Hello, this is Ming Na. Every year, approximately 300 children under the age of 5 drown in swimming pools and spas. Thousands more hospitalized after close calls. Every single one of these deaths and injuries is preventable. Simple steps save lives. And not just 1 or 2 steps, but multiple ones must be taken at all times to ensure safety around pools and spas. That's what we mean by pool safely. So always apply as many of the following simple steps as possible, because you never know which safety step will save a life, until it does.
If it wasn't for his doctor, he wouldn't be here.
If it weren't for Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, he wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for the phone call, we wouldn't have been there.
If I didn't call, I don't know where we would be.
Montgomery County emergency responders are there when you need help at no cost to you. In an emergency, don't ever hesitate to call 911. If you live in Montgomery County, you will never get a bill or pay a dime.
So if you have an emergency, call us. We're there for you.
Congratulations to the Montgomery College women's basketball team for finishing the season with a 24-8 record. After winning regional and district titles, they advanced to the Nationals where they won their opener in an upset. 2 close losses to the number 1 and number 3 teams in the nation followed, and the Raptors ended up 5th in the country, establishing them as one of the best MC basketball teams in school history. Get your resumes ready. MC is holding its spring career information and job fairs in April on all 3 campuses. Meet local employers looking to hire full-time, part-time, and summer employees. The fairs are free and open to the public. And Montgomery College will hold its annual Holocaust commemoration on April 9th at the Rockville campus. Survivors will share stories and MC students will present biographies of some who perished. The event is free and open to the public.
Welcome back to County Report this week. I'm Lorna Virgili. Thanks for watching. Earth Day is around the corner and the county's Department of Environmental Protection is looking for volunteers to participate in an Earth Day cleanup. The cleanup will be held on April 20th from 9 a.m. to noon in the White Oak neighborhood of Silver Spring. Volunteers will assist with trash removal projects. All participants must be at least 14 years old, and MCPS students who volunteer will be eligible to earn student service learning hours. But all must register prior to the event by sending an email to this address or by calling 240-777-7780.
Well, there are many different kinds of opportunities to volunteer throughout the year, and in April there are a lot of environmental projects available for the whole of Earth Month. There are projects with Montgomery Parks, there are projects with the Alice Ferguson Foundation, with lots of local communities that are doing park cleanups. There's a shredding event for recycling, and lots of different ways to find. City of Rockville has a lot of park cleanups, so lots of things to look for on the calendar in April.
If you're looking for other Earth Day events happening in April, go to montgomeryserves.org for their list of ways you can volunteer. Hundreds of county residents gather for the H2O Summit hosted by the Montgomery County Department of Environmental Protection and the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission. The free event held group discussions on how to lessen the impact of stormwater and a family fair, which had an assortment of water-related exhibitors and watershed groups.
One of our biggest challenges is getting more residents involved. We really want to have everyone looking at this and thinking about things in an environmental way and saying, okay, well, what can I do today that would make a difference towards stream health or water quality or things like that, So the more and more people we talk to, the more and more the people they talk to, the more and more the message gets out. And we have a laundry list of different practices: conservation landscaping, the rain barrels, even just as planting a tree at a certain spot in the property can actually be a rebate and prevent some of that stormwater from going directly into the stream.
For more information about stormwater management or what incentives the county gives for being environmentally conscious, go to mygreenmontgomery.org. Well, spring is officially here and plants are starting to bloom all around us. Our friends at Brookside Gardens give us some clips and tips on how to trim azaleas.
Hi, I'm Phil Normandy, Plant Collections Manager at Brookside Gardens. Today we're in the yard of a typical homeowner, a small property, but there are many lessons to be learned from a property like this. Over here we have some azaleas that the homeowner tells us were planted over 50 years ago. And her concerns are they healthy? Should they be replaced? What can be done with them? They're not looking their best. Let me show you how to prune this nice 50-year-old azalea. You see it's got flower buds, but it's been broken off. It's got a lot of dead in it, and essentially what you want to do with azaleas is cut those big old scraggly stems clearly to the ground. So here we are cutting off this dead stub of this azalea. History has shown us that if we take pieces like this all the way off, it will encourage very strong young growth from the base. This is going to encourage a lot of regrowth in the next few weeks. After this sort of pruning has been done, you're going to end up with a large grouping of small 5 to 6 inch shoots by the end of the summer. This is our azalea that's been finished pruning. Rejuvenation pruning is what we call this, because it really does have a refreshing, rejuvenating effect on the plant over the next several years. All the old unproductive stalks have been cut off. The scragglier stalks, which are still vibrant, now that they're cut back, will grow taller, and you'll get lots and lots of shoots from the base that will ultimately give you a much healthier plant faster than if you had actually gone out and bought a new plant.
It is time to meet our pet of the week, and today Kathy Stanhope brings us a male rabbit. Kathy?
Hi, this is Kathy Stanhope with your Pet of the Week at the Montgomery County Humane Society, and I am here with a very soft, cuddly little animal. This is Stilton. He is a Rex mixed rabbit, and you cannot believe how soft this little rabbit is. He is just pure black. His nose is going 100 miles an hour. He's got wonderfully silky ears, and he's just a baby, and he's looking for a home. He gets along well with other rabbits. We think he might even get along with other animals, provided they like him and don't want to eat him, but he's very, very sweet. He's a great guy. People always think of the shelter for just dogs and cats. Obviously, we have so much more. We have everything you can possibly imagine, including sometimes the occasional chicken or goat. So if you're looking for any kind of animal, give us a call at 240-773-5967 or visit us on the web at mchumane.org.
With that, we close this edition of County Report this week. Remember, we want to hear from you. Share your ideas on the county's new social media site, engage.montgomerycountymd.gov. And also, remember to like us on Facebook. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.